Welcome to Lesson 3. In Lesson 2, you learned about crotchets, quavers, and semiquavers. You learned to read them, and you learned to play them. Now in Lesson 3, you're going to be using that knowledge to write compositions, rhythmic compositions. We're going to go to slide 4 and just take a look at how you can write quavers. Quavers can be written as two separate notes with little flags at the end, or they can be beamed together. Semiquavers can be written exactly the same way. They can be written as 4 separate notes that have flags with 2 tails, or they can be beamed together with 2 notes across the top. Take a look at the next slide. We're going to clap the rhythms in number 1. First of all, we'll say them, and then we'll perform them. The first one, 1, 2, ready, begin. Ta, ta, ti, ti, ta. Ti, 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 ta, ta. Ta, ta, ti, ti, ta. Ta, ti, 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 ta. Now we're going to do number 1, and we're going to put the ta in our feet, and we're going to put the ti in our hands. Are you ready? When you do this with your class, you can divide the class in half. It's lots of fun, and then you can switch. So here we go. 1, 2, ready, begin. Ta, ta, ti, ta. Ti, 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 ta, ta. Ta, ta, ti, ti, ta. Ta, ti, 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 ta. Excellent. Now let's do number 2 together, and let's pick up the tempo. Tempo means speed, and we're going to try it a little faster. 1, 2, ready, begin. Ti, ti, ta, ti, ti, ta. Ta, 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 ta. Ti, ti, ta, ti, ti, ta. Ti, 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 ta, ta. Excellent. Now we're going to try number 3. You'll notice that number 3 actually has ticka-ticka, or the semiquavers, on beat 3 in the first 4 beats. So let's try it together. Are you ready? Remember, the ti-ti is in your hands, the ta is in your foot, and the ticka-ticka will be on your knees. We'll try it at a slow tempo first. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, begin. Ti, ti, ta, ticka, ticka, ta. Ta, ti, ti, ta, ta. Ticka, ticka, ta, ticka, ticka, ta. Ti, ti, ta, ta, ta. And the last one, of course, has something new. If you look in the second measure, or the second grouping of 4 beats, you will see a squiggly line. That's called a rest. It is a crotchet rest, and it has the same value as a crotchet. So that measure, you see a crotchet rest, a crotchet, and a crotchet rest. When you play a rest, we're going to use our hands out like this, and we won't speak. So a crotchet followed by a rest would be ta, ta. Are you ready? We will begin. Number 4. 1, 2, ready, begin. Ticka, ticka, ti, ti, ticka, ticka, ta. Ta, ta. Ticka, ticka, ti, ti, ticka, ticka, ti, ti, ta, ta, ta. And there you have it. Now we have to talk about how do we group the beats. In math, we often use sets of objects. For example, we might ask the children to circle sets of 2 bunnies, or sets of 2 boats. In music, we divide the beats up into groupings that can be 2, 3, or 4 if we are doing simple rhythms. And we call that division, or the number of beats, we call that the time signature. So if you look again on slide 5, how many beats do you see together that are separated by a vertical line? That vertical line is called a bar line, And the distance between two vertical lines is called a bar or a measure. That's right. In each of the examples on slide 5, there are 4 beats in each grouping. And we often make beat 1 a little bit louder than all the other beats, and we call this an accent. Now, in this assignment, you are going to write 2 compositions with your class. One of them should be in groups of 3, and the other may be in groups of 2 or 4. My suggestion is that groups of 4 are much easier for students to write because that's what they've been working with so far. There will be another video placed up there that has practice with groups of 3 if you'd like to practice that with your class, but it will be in addition to this lesson. Thank you.